Again, and in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. Prepping for the beta coming up this weekend, there are going to be a lot of new eyes and new ears on this game. And for a lot of people this is probably very new. There's new mechanics, for a lot of people new characters, new buttons, just things we don't know a lot about. And so in this video I wanted to quickly cover how to understand what's happening on the screen. So talking about what the button system is, what the mechanics systems are, what the different flashes on the screens mean, just so you can kind of understand what's happening when you see cool stuff on your screen. So let's get right into it and not waste any time. Alright, and to start off simply, we've got our buttons. So this is a simple 4-button game. We've got light punch, light kick, heavy punch, heavy kick. Just the 4 main buttons on your controller, very easy, they're your 4 main attacks. And unlike a Street Fighter things, there are not so much of command normals, there's just the standing and the crouching version, but also the close and far version for every respective button. So we're going to watch a little bit of gameplay, courteous of the wonderful Maximilian dude, and you're going to be able to see that the buttons are pretty easy to distinguish even if you don't know what the character's buttons are. Because anything that is a punch or a kick that you can see come out is going to be the heavy version, and if it's like an instant punch or instant tiny little kick, that's going to be your lights. So as you can see there, that was a crouching heavy kick, then a crouching light punch. And anything that consisting as a combo is going to be a special move, except for the first like 2 hits, because this game is very special move combo style. So a few random little jumping buttons. Look, that's a light kick into heavy punches there. And then as you can see, the combo consists mostly of heaviness. So most of this game was done by just little bits of standing punches and kicks. So crouching heavy punch, look at a little bit of crouching light punch. That kick, you know, you could see it come out a teeny bit, like you can see it exists. So those are 2 different versions of his heavy kick, like a close version and a far version, clearly. A few projectiles, jumping normals, the grab, which we know is performed by 2 light buttons together. Some crouching light punches, very obvious. More crouching light punches, very obvious. Now for Jenny, she did a jumping light kick. Now she's doing, this is her close light because it's very fast and very small, so it's very clearly. And I guess it's plus, and then it goes into these heavy punches. And then the combo consists mostly of special moves. So very, very easy to distinguish what every character's buttons are, basically. If it's the first few hits of a combo, it's likely some lights into some heavies, and that's just how it is. But to say this game is a truly 4-button game would be a little bit of a lie, because you have an important 5th button, which is your rev button. Now this is where you combine this button with a few other types of inputs to do all your other various types of attacks, basically. So if you combine your rev button with like heavy punch, for example, that's how you can do this game's version of like 6 Ps. So you can do a high dodge attack that like dodges high attacks and you like go under them, or you can do a low dodge attack where you kind of jump over their attacks and like jump over a little crouching kick or something. So there you kind of 2 like, ooh, interesting type of counter moves, and they're both done by pressing your rev button and a heavy punch. So not only does this rev button make your normals more interesting, it also can make your guard and your specials more interesting. So if you press this while you're guarding, this is kind of like your FD from Guilty Gear or your parry from Street Fighter. It's kind of a mix of the 2. Basically it negates block damage, but it costs you a little bit of resource because it increases this heat gauge that we have down there as a key part of this game. So basically, just when you're blocking, if you hold this rev button, you get to do this fancy rev guard. So you don't get any chip damage, you get further pushback, so it'll stop you dying from chip damage at the end of the game, and if someone has funky pressure, it'll push them away. And like we said, it's also useful for making your special moves more interesting, so every character in the game has a few moves that can be braked, or broken, I guess. And just you do the special move and then press this rev button and it'll break the special move, which I'm sure you've seen a bit now, but essentially just in the example of a DP, it'll do the launching part of the DP where they hit you into the air but then they won't follow up with the last hits, and it's just like your main way of getting launchers in this game. And then swiftly moving on from brakes with your rev button, I want to emphasize that brakes are not the same thing as feints in this game, and people seem to be making that mistake a little bit. Brakes are you do a special move and it hits them with the first bit, but feints are literally just a feint, and they're a whole different input. So each character has 2 feints performed with rev plus heavy kick, and you can do like standing version or crouching version, and each character just has slightly different animations for it. And these are either to feint out doing a projectile, like in this example here, you can pretend to throw a projectile and have the opponent jump at you, or it's also a key part of most characters' combo routes, where they will cancel a button and go into some kind of combo from a nice heavy button. And then to finish off regular button inputs, every character has a target combo, a simple one where it starts with your lights into some heavies, and a lot of characters have their own special ones as well. And jumping in this game, you could have a regular jump where you jump forwards, backwards, straight up, or if you tap, you can also do a little bit of a hop, or if you do a little bit of a dash and into a jump, you get a higher and further jump. So 3 different types of jumps, that's a classic SNK thing. The only thing is that during your little jump, it's good because you can get your overhead attack a lot faster, but you can't do the fancy blocks that we'll be able to show later on.